Toph rides into the workroom on a set of stones that Terra is levitating, and both queens bow for the main camera before the rest of the queens walk in behind them.
These hatchet-faced bitches are giving me the stink eye as I enter the workroom, and I feel incredible. I'm not in this competition to kiki, I'm here to win. And I stand by everything that I said in Untucked, especially since Deoxys started that fight, not me.
I don't know who's more eager to run that horse into the ground, Toph or myself. And although I don't plan to reheat our Untucked drama, I really hope that Maximus tries to start something with me again.
The silence between the beautiful people and the rest of the queens is palpable. Eventually, Terra tries to break the ice by asking how everyone is feeling after Eva's elimination. Kari responds that, despite her shit attitude when she first walked into the workroom, she's actually going to miss Eva.
Eva and I got off on the wrong foot in the first challenge, but when she was knocked off her pedestal by the judges, we started to see the queen beneath her tough facade. I was genuinely sad to see her looking so defeated as she walked into last week's critiques and the lip sync.
Ventress lets out a sharp laugh and insists that the only thing she'll miss about Eva is having her around to fill one of the bottom spots each week, which causes Maximus and Rita to cackle. Number 3 narrows her gaze at Ventress and asks if she's worried about falling into the bottom now that she can't coast behind Eva's struggles. Ventress claps back that she hasn't been coasting at all this season and reminds 3 that, unlike her, she actually has a challenge win. 3 reminds Ventress that she won one challenge and has fallen into the safe zone for the rest of the competition, whereas 3 has been in the top for several episodes. Terra nods and points at Rita, adding that Ventress can't focus on the competition because she's too busy working for her new boss.
I don't know why Ventress and Rita both looked like they swallowed their tongues over that last remark. It was just a little joke considering how much time they've spent together since episode 3. Unless...
I truly couldn't care less what those pedestrian bitches think about me or how I handle myself, but the longer that we can keep the beautiful people under wraps, the better. The last thing we need is the others teaming up against our alliance. I'd rather catch them by surprise and crush them when we get to the top 6 and can finally secure a majority.
Ventress and Rita share a worried glance, but before any of the queens can question them further, the workroom siren blares and Pegasus's face appears on the monitor.
My queens, after serving us Dungeons & Dragons glamour on the runway last week, I think you've all earned a little break. So, we're bringing back a fan favorite mini challenge from last season, the photo bomb. You see, as we were filming this season, Mai was very busy campaigning to get onto Cartoon Drag Race, Toon Madness All Stars. Today, you will have 10 minutes to get into your best quick drag, and then each of you will be photobombing Mai at one of her most iconic stops. So, without further ado, let's see what you've got. Aku Aku.
I followed Mai on her European tour. Naturally, she seemed right at home at such an old venue. Her cakey mug blended in perfectly with the crumbling foundations, and her contour was harder than the Colosseum itself. In solidarity with the ancient gladiators, even her wig was fighting for its life.
Deoxys.
Is anyone surprised that Mai had to leave planet Earth to solicit enough all-star support? She was certainly roaring into the cosmos, begging extraterrestrials to bot the online voting. And I think I heard her whisper to Katy Perry that she likes kissing girls.
Kari.
Spotted. My Valentine pleading with Ione for her vote. Rumor has it that she could only get Ione to agree by promising to ask Lola to lift her restraining order. But when things are so dire that you need to campaign in an empty parking lot, can you really complain?
Maximus.
Why do they book me on these chicken shit gigs? Mai, I realize that your call to fame was how badly you flopped on Toon Madness, but campaigning in a literal sewer. Sweetie, don't you know that bad drag is contagious? The stench of desperation is actually killing me.
Number 3.
Leave it to Mai to rile up the theater gays and insist that they'll be changed for good if they lend her their votes. I'm convinced that Cynthia and Ariana only agreed to hold space for her All-Stars run because they were confused. The only thing that defied gravity about that interview was my appearance.
Terra.
Mai should be commended for her delusion, strutting the Hollywood Walk of Fame as if she belongs. Shoot for the stars, honey, because you'll never be one. And who knows, maybe Messy Mouse will cash app you 1 million votes for posing beside his name. Shameless.
Toph.
I don't know about you, but I didn't have my campaigning at the Met Gala on my gay bingo card. However, her decision to team up with Do-Chi was oddly fitting. Do-Chi was screaming for more umbrellas, while Mai was shouting for more votes. Wow, you really did that, divas.
Rita Repulsa.
I followed Mai to a quaint little hovel that smelled strongly of fish. I suppose it isn't surprising that she booked such an underwhelming campaign venue. She barely has enough followers to fill a tool shed, let alone an actual establishment.
Asaj Ventress.
Can anyone explain to me why the so-called queen of Toon World was seen begging for votes at a fast food joint? Is this some elaborate marketing scheme? Her wigs are certainly crusty, and her last checkup verified that she has crabs. Honestly, the only thing less appealing than Mai are these vile patties.
Kari and Maximus won the mini challenge.
The words, Maximus, you won the challenge, sounded so correct coming out of Pegasus's mouth. It sounds even better if you ignore the mini part and forget that I shared the win with, what's her name again? Katie? Oh, not Mimi, that's it.
Well, I hope you all enjoyed photobombing Mai. I know I'll certainly have a lot of fun showing her these pictures. Now, for this week's main challenge, I believe that one of you tried to manifest it last episode. That's right, you're all going to be playing the Snatch game. This challenge is the real proving ground in Toon World, and I look forward to seeing who among you rises to the occasion and who crumbles under the pressure. Ta-ta, ladies. I'll see you out there.
The queens look at one another for a moment, their expressions a mixture of joy, shock, and utter terror, before splitting into separate groups to prepare for the challenge. Aku and Deoxys are setting up next to one another when Kari sits at the end of their workstation, placing a long blonde wig and what looks like a pair of angel wings on her mannequin. The two queens approach her, and Deoxys asks why she's decided to get ready over here instead of alongside number 3 and Toph. Kari looks up and replies that she wants to go into this challenge without any distractions that could hurt her performance.
I told Toph and 3 before the camera started rolling that I wanted to work apart from them this week. They're great queens, but I feel like I've been prioritizing our friendship over myself in this competition, and that stops now. I'm here to represent my drag family, and I know that I can do so much more than what I've shown so far.
Deoxys and Aku nod, praising Kari for being self-aware enough to recognize when she needs to make a change. Deoxys then gestures towards her mannequin and states that if he had to guess who Kari is doing for the Snatch game, he would say Anjuwaman. Kari raises her hands in mock surprise and tells Deoxys that he caught her red-handed, before confirming that she'll be impersonating Anjuwaman for the challenge. Aku narrows his eyes at Kari, stating that her idea makes sense given how well she knows Anjuwaman, but he wonders how she'll make her performance funny. Kari replies that Anjuwaman shined in the comedy challenges on both of her seasons, insisting that she knows how to emulate her drag daughter's natural charisma.
I like Kari a lot, but shining in comedy challenges is very different from winning them, you know what I mean? Funny isn't the first word that comes to mind when I think of Anjuwaman.
Kari shrugs away the duo's concerned gazers and asks who they'll be doing for the Snatch game. Aku pulls out a long black wig from his workstation and proudly states that he'll be imitating one of the ballroom scene's greatest icons, Law Roach. Deoxys and Kari nod, and Deoxys tells Aku that Law Roach is a fantastic choice for the Snatch game, adding that he'll have a lot of opportunities to volley with Pegasus. Aku replies that was part of the reason he chose the character and admits that he plans to fight his way back into the top this week.
I started off really strong in this competition, but where others are picking up steam, I feel like the judges aren't as excited by me. I intend for that to change with the Snatch game.
Aku gestures at the bright blue suit and red wig on Deoxys's workstation and asks the other queen who he intends to do for the challenge. Deoxys floats over to his mannequin and puts on the red wig before happily stating that he's impersonating one of his biggest drag inspirations, David Bowie.
You heard that right, I'm portraying the icon himself, David Bowie. With regards to my drag, I like to say that half of my inspiration comes from the Pokemon world, and the other half comes from Bowie. His gender-bending, avant-garde style has shaped music and pop culture as we know it, and a lot of the more cosmic, conceptual looks that I've created stem from my love of Bowie and a desire to put my own spin on his aesthetic.
Kari and Aku praise Deoxys for his stunning challenge look, and Kari asks if he'd be willing to share a bit of his Bowie impression. Deoxys obliges, immediately adopting a British accent and speaking in a lower pitch.
Deoxys's impression isn't bad, but it's not great either. It honestly feels like he's playing it safe with his jokes, and the accent isn't entirely there. I'm just hoping he can pull it together before the challenge starts.
Before Deoxys can ask for feedback, Aku chimes in and tells the others that he'd like to practice his law roach a bit more. He offers to volley back and forth with each of them, and Kari and Deoxys happily agree. Number 3, Terra and Toph stand together at their workstation, each preparing their outfits for the snatch game. Toph looks towards 3, who places a cheetah print dress with a massive pad over the stomach on the table and begins brushing a long black wig. Toph asks how 3 is doing, particularly now that Kari has chosen to work at a different station. 3 shrugs, her eyes never leaving her outfit, and states that if Kari feels she needs to work elsewhere, then neither of them has any right to stop her.
I love working alongside Kari, and I wish she hadn't decided to distance herself, but I need to focus on my performance. I've been circling a win since the first week, and I've been waiting for the snatch game from the moment that I walked into the workroom. I'm not letting anything distract me.
Terra presses a finger into the large bump on 3's dress and asks who she intends to impersonate for the snatch game. 3 replies that she'll be portraying one of her favorite stand-up comedians and actresses, Ali Wong. Toph smiles, stating that 3 has the charisma and natural chaotic energy to really make Ali Wong shine. 3 nods and quickly thanks Toph before returning to her preparations for the challenge.
It's weird to see 3 so clocked in. She usually likes to chat and play a bit as we get ready for a challenge, but she's barely moved from her spot at the workstation today. I'm glad that Terra agreed to come over and fill Kari's space. It makes the silence a lot less awkward.
Terra and Toph chat as they organize their looks for the snatch game. Toph picks up a strip of blue fabric that she senses along Terra's section of the table, and asks the other queen who she intends to portray. Terra replies that she'll be impersonating her former drag sister, Raven. Toph tells Terra that Raven is a smart choice, although she's surprised that Terra is utilizing that connection, especially after she mentioned not wanting to focus on her past with the Titans. Terra shrugs, stating that she's referencing her former drag family on her own terms and won't have any regrets about her decision.
Raven and I weren't on good terms before everything went to shit with the Titans, and we aren't friends now. Although we never got along, I think I can use what I know about her and make fun of her attitude last season to get back into the top this week.
Toph nods, insisting that she won't pry and actually thinks that Pegasus will respect Terra's decision to pick a character they both know quite well. Terra thanks Toph before gesturing to the blue, furry material sitting in front of the smaller queen and asking who she'll be portraying for the snatch game. Toph replies that she's taking a bit of a risk in impersonating her drag sister, Katara. Terra cocks her head at Toph as she ponders what to say.
Since sorting out our issues, Toph and I have become quite close. We've spent a lot of time chatting in the hotel and bonding in the workroom, and I respect her work. I just don't know if Katara is a wise choice for this challenge. Sure, most people know of Team Avatar, but Pegasus doesn't have a strong rapport with Katara, which could make volleying back and forth difficult. I think she's setting herself up to fail, and that worries me.
Terra asks if Toph prepared a backup character, and she watches as the other queen's shoulders immediately fill with tension. Toph sighs, stating that she doesn't have a backup character and knows that her impersonation is bad.
Unlike 3, I was hoping to avoid the snatch game for as long as possible. The idea of portraying another character while Pegasus just stares and encourages you to banter isn't something that I really knew how to prepare for. This is definitely the most nervous I've felt throughout the entire competition.
Terra tells Toph that her impression isn't bad, she just needs to figure out what makes her drag sister funny and incorporate that into her responses. Toph nods and insists that she's trying but isn't sure what parts of her planned material to use. Terra puts on her blue cloak and lowers her tone, adopting her best Raven impression while asking Toph if she'd like to exchange jokes to help them both prepare for the challenge. Toph eagerly agrees and Terra turns towards 3, inviting her to join them, but 3 only shakes her head in response.
I'm grateful that Terra and I have grown so close in this competition. She's hilarious and a very talented drag queen. As long as we have each other's backs, I think we both have a strong chance at making it to the finale.
Terra and Toph continue to chat and practice together, while 3 finishes her preparations alone. Ventress, Maximus, and Rita stand alongside one another, each going over their material for the challenge. After a moment, Rita turns to Maximus and asks if he felt limited because his only options for the snatch game were Secretariat and Seabiscuit. Maximus glares at her, but all 3 queens quickly burst into laughter. Maximus then picks up a large blonde wig with his teeth and sets it atop the table. In a very raspy voice, he says, "That's not a wig, that's my real hair," which makes Ventress and Rita cheer.
Yes indeed, my Snatch Game character is the iconic queen from planet Glamtron, Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. Alaska inspired me to start doing drag, and I've always wanted to emulate her on a stage like this.
Ventress praises Maximus for his choice, stating that she knows that Pegasus will love it before pulling out a blonde wig of her own, although hers is significantly dirtier and more distressed. She proudly declares that she'll be portraying Courtney Love for the Snatch Game.
Courtney Love has that burned out, rocket chick style that I love to emulate with my drag. I hope to be very messy and give Courtney Love at the Pamela Anderson roast energy. If you know, you know.
Ventress playing a strung-out blonde that looks like she's been cooking meth. Groundbreaking.
Rita grins and says that she's glad they're both playing characters who will shine in the challenge. Lowering her voice to a whisper, she reminds them that they have a plan to discuss, and Maximus assures her that he hasn't forgotten. He states that Toph and Deoxys need to land in the bottom this week, and Ventress nods, insisting that they'll both be there.
After last week, nothing is going to stop me from getting Toph and Deoxys to lip-sync tonight. I think it's time that I put this little alliance to use.
Rita takes out a massive breastplate and sets it on the workstation in front of her. She tells Maximus not to worry because she thought of the perfect idea in her hotel room last night. Maximus leans forward eagerly and asks her to break the suspense, both about her plan and her Snatch Game character. Rita glances down and laughs, revealing a form-fitting and scantily clad bodysuit. She states that she'll be impersonating one of her Power Rangers sisters, the iconic villainess, Divatox.
Dee and I have been friends for over a decade. We initially bonded because we hate those horrible Power Rangers more than anything in this world. That, and we both look outstanding in black. I think I can really emulate her over-the-top sexuality and steal the Snatch Game. And if my plan works as intended, then I'll cruise right to the top while Ventress and Maximus do my dirty work for me.
Rita sets her garment aside and admits that they can't do anything to Toph or Deoxys in the workroom, noting that Pegasus likely wouldn't be so lenient to the next queen who pulls such a blatant stunt. Ventress nods but insists that she doesn't see why Pegasus would care, since she did him a favor by eliminating that hunched monstrosity. Maximus quickly tells Rita to get to the point, and she stares him down for a moment before revealing that they should plan to interrupt Deoxys's and Toph's jokes while Pegasus is bantering with them.
Snatch Game is about being able to improvise as a single character for hours, and I know for a fact that neither Deoxys nor Toph are equipped to excel in this challenge. If we can trip them up early, then they won't be able to recover, and both will land in the bottom like Maximus once, which makes room for one of the beautiful people to snag another win. Ideally me, because hearing it last week just felt correct.
Ventress says that she likes the idea, but Maximus is reticent, stating that he doesn't want to spend so much energy messing with the other queens that he doesn't shine in the challenge. Rita asks if he has a better idea, and Maximus pauses before admitting that he doesn't. Rita suggests that they all start practicing so the beautiful people can both sabotage and slay at the same time. The trio falls into a steady rhythm and continues to rehearse until production announces that they're needed on the main stage. Aku will be playing Law Roach. Deoxys will be playing David Bowie. Kari will be playing Anja Woman. Maximus will be playing Alaska Thunderfuck 5000. Rita Repulsa will be playing Divatox. Terra will be playing Raven. Number 3 will be playing Ali Wong. Toph will be playing Katara. Asajj Ventress will be playing Courtney Love. Rita Repulsa and Number 3 slayed the challenge.
My plan went off perfectly. Ventress and Maximus made sure that Toph and Deoxys failed spectacularly in the challenge, while I got to shine without lifting a finger. I know Dee like the back of my hand, so portraying her was easy. I was sexy, I was campy, and I know that Pegasus lived for me.
I feel a little bad for shutting out Tara and Toph in the workroom, but I can't say that I regret it. My Ali Wong was loud. I was able to keep up with Rita when it came to improving my material, and I think I had the strongest back and forth with Pegasus. I put my all into this challenge, and no matter what, I'm proud of my performance.
Maximus, Asajj Ventress, and Terra had a great performance.
Tonight, I paid tribute to one of the messiest moments in TV history, and I could tell that Pegasus was living for every second of my performance. My Courtney Love impression was flawless, and I embodied her in a way that allowed me to interact with the other queens while also disrupting Deoxys and Toph whenever they tried to answer a question. My chaotic energy seemed so natural that I don't think Pegasus even registered the sabotage.
Some might argue that playing Raven was a messy choice, but they can leave that shit in my blue sky DMs. Raven was a brat last season, and playing up that attitude while also referencing things that Pegasus loved about her made everything work perfectly. I was nervous walking into this challenge, but I really think I outdid myself.
Aku, Toph, Kari, and Deoxys had a good performance.
I'm fuming over what happened in the Snatch game. My Katara impersonation started off fine thanks to the material that Tara and I workshopped, but every time I try to make a joke, Maximus or Ventress cut me off. I let them trip me up, and I'm really nervous walking into critiques.
My Anja Woman impression went flat after my first joke. The second that I realized my material wasn't landing, I froze. I've never had to improvise that intensely before, and thinking back on it, I know I missed a few setups for easy jokes. I'm just hoping that my runway will keep me out of the bottom for a second time.
I mean, do you want me to be honest or do you want me to be delusional? Fuck it, I'll be delusional. I know that the judges were eating up my David Bowie. Pegasus lived for all of my jokes, and it definitely wasn't a total cringe fest. There, did you get your soundbite?
Welcome to the main stage of Cartoon Drag Race Toon World Season 2. Allow me to introduce our acclaimed panel of judges. First, she's our resident judge and the mother of Toon World. It's My Valentine. Next, we have our special guest judge, your favorite C-star from Cartoon Drag Race Season 1 and All Stars 2. It's Patrick Starr. Tonight, we asked our queens to give us their best celebrity impersonations in the iconic Snatch game. And on the runway, category is, Who the fuck is leather? Patrick, I've been dying to ask, is mayonnaise an instrument?
No, but I can personally assure you that horseradish is.
It's times like these that I'm tempted to call Blanley and beg her to let me take Bill Anderson's spot on the Toon Madness judging panel.
Don't be silly, Mai. Bill won a challenge when he competed on a season. You didn't.
Bitch.
Asajj Ventress and Aku slayed the runway.
Tonight, I'm serving you floating BDSM head realness. I've got an apple gag stuffed between my teeth, and my face is covered in a gorgeous pleather face cage that extends down into a floor-length train. My look was a gag. I was literally gagged, and I know everyone at home was gagged too.
This bodysuit is giving Bayonetta a run for her money in terms of sheer cuntiness. My body looks fantastic, my makeup is correct, and you already know that I'm wearing the same blonde pussycat wig that the viewers have come to love and adore. I feel hot, I look hot, and I'm sure that the judges were burning up watching me walk the runway.
Rita Repulsa, number 3, Terra, Deoxys, and Kari had a great runway.
I decided to show everyone that even a kooky diva like me can be fashionable. I'm wearing a gorgeous, pastel racing suit that I airbrushed by hand and a matching helmet. I'm cinched to high hell, and I've got on a wet, red bob that screams sensuality. I feel elevated tonight, and I know the judges were living for me.
After looking like an uprooted tree last week, walking down the runway in my fitted catsuit is a real breath of fresh air, which is ironic given my inability to breathe in this corset. I'm paying homage to one of the original DC divas, Gotham City's Catwoman. I'm strutting and crawling across the stage, all while flicking my bullwhip like a professional, and I think I showed everyone a very different side of Tara tonight.
I'm serving high goth glamour in a pleatherball gown. I feel like Morticia Adams's wicked stepsister from Mars. I'm very fashionable, but that's normal for me. More than anything, I feel much more confident stomping a hole in this runway than I did performing in the challenge.
I decided to take my usual aesthetic in a different direction and went full punk rock with this look. Nobody in my drag family has ever seen me like this before, wearing an enormous mohawk as a wig, decked out in more spikes and chains than you can count. I'm serving biker baddie realness and I'm loving it.
Maximus and Toph had a good runway.
My runway is what that bitch from The Matrix would look like if he was a horse. I'm wearing a leather bridle and harness, along with a long-ass coat that I've thrown over my back and a pair of specialty shades that I had custom made. I'm feeling very futuristic, and I love the silhouette I'm serving tonight.
I went a bit more fashion than usual with this runway. I'm wearing a skin-tight bodysuit made entirely of purple leather and a long, black wig that I'm flicking all over that stage. Might read me for lacking a real heel tonight, but I'm hoping it'll be a minor critique.
Deoxys, Kari, number 3, Toph, Rita, Repulsa, and Terra. You represent the tops and bottoms of the week. Maximus, Asajj Ventress, and Aku. You are all safe and may go untucked backstage. Now it's time for your critiques. Kari, please step forward. Mai, start us off.
Kari, I understand why you chose Anjuwulmon as your Snatch Game character, but I don't think things worked out the way you'd hoped. Your impression was actually spot on, but none of your planned jokes or attempts at improvisation really worked. Unfortunately, I could see you freeze up once you realized that your material wasn't landing, which prevented you from bouncing back.
What held you back most in this challenge is that you struggled to volley with me or any of your sisters. Aku and 3 even stepped in to throw you a few jokes that you could run with, but you let most of those opportunities pass you by. I think your performance had a lot of potential tonight, and you did have some funny moments, but it wasn't as strong as it could have been, especially given how well you know Anjuwulmon.
In the Snatch Game, playing someone that you know was either a blessing or a curse, and things just didn't work in your favor tonight. To give you some praise, I really like how unique your runway is compared to all of the other looks on stage. The spiked mohawk is a big statement piece, and I think you really understand how to grab the audience's attention.
Deoxys, please step forward.
Deoxys, I expected you to shine a lot brighter than you did in this challenge. You had one of the strongest characters and your look was impeccable, but the impression just wasn't there. You lacked any of David Bowie's natural charisma or sex appeal, and you could barely maintain a consistent accent for one joke. Tonight wasn't your best moment in this competition.
When I saw that you were playing Bowie, I was truly excited because his influence on your drag is evident. However, the entire performance just fell flat and was disappointing to watch. I know it's difficult to recover when another queen beats you to your punchline, which Maximus did a few times in this challenge. But the ability to think on your feet is a vital part of succeeding at improv.
I'd like to highlight that all of your looks tonight were immaculate. Your makeup is unique and suits your face well. You bring a lot of versatility to your garments, and your runway walk is the strongest out of anyone on that stage. From what I've seen, you know your drag persona very well. I think you just struggled to step outside of that character in the Snatch Game.
Rita Repulsa, please step forward.
Rita, your Divatox impersonation really showed off a different side to your drag. Everything about you is grand, campy, and comedic, but you don't often incorporate sex appeal into your performances. However, tonight you proved that you can serve sex on a sizzling hot platter. Your Divatox was sultry, seductive, and just the right amount of naughty to keep everyone on their toes. I think you really shined in the Snatch Game.
Your close connection with Divatox really allowed you to immerse yourself in this challenge. You're already an over-the-top slice of camp excellence, but like Mai said, your performance tonight emphasized a different dimension of your drag. As for this runway, I think you look both imperial and stunning. Truly, you've yet to disappoint me with any of your looks this season.
Although I really enjoyed your Divatox impression, I think you relied a bit too heavily on the same jokes and didn't allow yourself to take any risks in your performance. Some of the other queens worked on the fly to create the strongest moments of the night, and I admired their quick improvisation skills. I understand sticking to what you've prepared, but you played it a little safe and let some really strong jokes slip by.
Number 3, please step forward.
3. Tonight you reached an entirely different level in the challenge and on the runway. Your Ali Wong impersonation was perfect. You were hilarious, you were raunchy, and you knew how to make Ali funny without relying too heavily on planned jokes. I was really impressed by everything I saw from you.
Snatch Game is the crux of any cartoon drag race season, and it's rare for someone to perform as strongly as you did from the moment that the challenge started. You were funny and delivered a masterclass in how to improvise when another queen tries to steal your joke. It really felt like you were cementing your place in this competition tonight. Wonderful job.
I've competed in 2 Snatch Games, and I've only witnessed Daphne, Daffy Duck, and myself come in as determined as you to leave a mark. Your performance was fantastic. You were funny and seemed comfortable deviating from your planned material. This runway is also a total slay. The color blocking and the airbrushing on the garment is stunning.
Toph, please step forward.
Toph, I could tell that you were in your head from the moment Pegasus asked you his first question. However, what I really want to focus on tonight is your shoes. I've taken it in stride these past few weeks, but I can't bite my tongue any longer because that is the most homophobic heel I've ever seen. It cuts your leg in half and makes you look even smaller than you are. You might as well be wearing a pair of sneakers on that stage. If you don't have higher heels, then borrow some from one of your sisters because you need to start wearing something different.
For me, your performance as Katara fell flat the moment that you began speaking in the Snatch Game. You clearly know a lot about your drag sister, but you didn't portray her in a way that allowed us to volley with you. It also seemed like you had difficulty responding to what other queens were saying in the challenge, particularly Maximus and Ventress. I could see that you were really trying, but your jokes just didn't land.
I think you know that your character choice worked against you from the start, so I won't belabor the point. However, I'd like to compliment your look tonight. Although it's a bit simple compared to what your sisters presented, it suits your body very well. Honestly, I think the real takeaway from this runway is that you should make that black wig your new best friend because the way you whipped it around the stage was quite captivating.
And to end the night, Tara, please step forward.
Tara, you bounced back in a big way during the Snatch Game. You've already managed to distinguish yourself in a cast of very strong comedy queens, and tonight was no exception. You used what you knew about Raven to hilarious effect, and also retained some of the key traits that endeared her to us last season. As for this runway, I think your tribute to Catwoman is the cat's meow. Very well done.
The Dark Magician girl put it perfectly when she said that you exude a natural, magnetic charisma when you get in front of an audience. You aren't afraid to take risks to really grab our attention, and you definitely captivated me throughout the Snatch Game. As for this runway, I like that we're seeing a more risque side to your drag, and I honestly appreciate the diverse styling that you've incorporated into all of the looks you've presented so far.
As someone who was a big Raven fan last season, I think you used some of her worst and most iconic moments to full effect in this challenge. You weren't loud and over the top like some of the others. Instead, you provided a quiet, almost spiteful contrast that always took me by surprise. You walked a really difficult line with your performance, and you should be proud of what you accomplished in the Snatch Game.
Ladies, now that the judges and I have deliberated and shared our thoughts with you, I've made some decisions. Rita Repulsa, tonight your Divatox was the breast in show. You are safe and may go untucked backstage.
High, win, high. I can just hear my ticket prices going up and up with each challenge. At this point, I don't know if some of the others will even be able to afford the cost of admission. Oh, who am I kidding? I wouldn't let anyone except Maximus or Ventress attend one of my shows. The rest can stew outside with the garbage.
Tara, tonight your Raven put a hex on the judges. You are safe and may go untucked backstage.
Being back in the top after lip-syncing last week gave me the exact shot of adrenaline that I needed to keep going in this competition. I'm really proud of what I brought to the Snatch Game. I just wish that Toph had shined alongside me. It was really hard to watch her struggle because of Maximus and Ventress.
Number 3, tonight, your Ali Wong had beef with everyone, and we loved every second of it. Congratulations, my dear. You are the winner of this week's challenge.
Winning the Snatch Game is something that I've been working towards since I got the call to be on the season. so hearing Pegasus say those words was everything to me. My drag family has worked incredibly hard to get to where we are, and I'm thrilled to be bringing a win home to the kids next door.
Kari, in the Snatch game, you served us Anja Woman realness circa Season 6, not All Stars 2. I'm sorry, my dear, but you are up for elimination. Toph, tonight, the judges felt that your Katara impersonation could barely tread water. Deoxys, although your David Bowie look was intergalactic, your performance in the Snatch game was anything but out of this world. Toph, I'm sorry, my dear, but you are also up for elimination. Deoxys, you are safe, but I want to say something before you go untuck backstage. Your drag is sickening, and you've shown that you're a fierce performer. However, the Deoxys I know is better than 3 safe placements followed by a trip to the bottom 3. You need to step it up, and quickly, because your sisters are starting to leave you behind. Do you understand me?
I do, Mother. Trust when I say that you won't find me in this position again.
I hope that's true. You may leave the stage.
I'm heartbroken that I let Ventress and Maximus throw me off my game, but I won't give them the satisfaction of watching me go home. It's Team Avatar versus Team Digidestined. Kari's a talented lip-syncer, but you already know that I can buck with the best of them. I'll let everyone at home do the math.
Going into critiques, I was sure that I'd be in the bottom this week. I know the words to this song like the back of my hand, and I can see that Toph isn't going to take it easy on me. May the best diva win.
The lip sync song is Cool Girl by Tove Lo. Toph had a great lip sync. Kari knew all of the words to the song and had a good lip sync.
Ladies, I have made my decision. Toph, Shantae, you stay. You may go untucked backstage. Kari, Toon World's digital doll. We're incredibly grateful that you decided to bring Digimon drag excellence to Toon World. Now, my dear, sashay away.
I wonder how I can blame Faramosa for this.
This is Untucked.
The Queens congratulate number 3 for winning the challenge and Toph for surviving the lip sync. Both queens thank the group. Number 3, Toph, Terra, Aku, and Deoxys are standing together and chatting about Kari's elimination before they're interrupted by producers wheeling a TV into the Untucked lounge. The 5 queens are stunned, each wondering aloud who will receive Toon World's first video message, only for Terra to gasp when she sees Beast Boy's face come onto the screen. Beast Boy praises Terra for her performance in the competition and says that he's proud of her for shining so brightly, adding that he and most of the Jump City queens are rooting for her to bring the crown home. After a moment, the TV screen switches off, and Terra bursts into tears. The other queens rush to her side, and Terra quickly apologizes, stating that hearing from her friend and realizing that she has strong support back home means more than she can put into words. Standing up, Terra tells the group that she needs a little air to collect herself, and Toph promptly follows her outside. Maximus, Rita Repulsa, and Asajj Ventress stand apart from the other queens and watch Terra's video message without interrupting. Maximus huffs in annoyance, complaining that they not only failed to eliminate Toph or Deoxys, but now production is throwing the blonde charity case a bone. Rita smiles, insisting that everything is still going to plan as long as they all remain in the competition, and Ventress quickly agrees. Maximus nods reluctantly, stating that he knows they can all make it to the end together and just wants to get rid of the other queens as soon as possible.
Don't forget to like and subscribe if you enjoy our content. Now remember, be proud, feel free, and live your life, always.